was like 5 or 6 years old, I had to get stitches underneath my arm because, well, I don't want to go into exactly what happened because it's gross. But there was a nurse, he was there for me, and I had so many lollipops. I don't know about you, but I am forever grateful for nurses. Here are 3 quick reasons why I love nurses. Number 1, they combine passion with knowledge. Nurses need to know a lot of science to be able to do the things that they do. But not only are they super smart, they're also super, super helpful. They have the capacity to administer a shot to a squirming patient and also be able to calm them down. That's a superpower. Number 2, they work like 12 to over 12 hours a day, several days a week in a row. And during that time, they have to stay sharp, focused, and ready to take on whatever challenge lies ahead of them. Number 3, they are that familiar face that you need. Even as an adult, a hospital or doctor's office can be super confusing and kind of scary or really scary, but nurses are there for you. They're that familiar face. They've got your back. Thank you, nurses. All right, let's learn about some badass nurses of history. The first badass nurse is Miss Clara Barton. She was an independent nurse during the Civil War. She convinced the government to let her bring her own medical supplies to the war, and she was able to provide her own voluntary nursing services to the soldiers. After the Civil War, she went to Europe where she was introduced to the Red Cross. 3 years later, she established the Red Cross in the United States. And 8 years later, in 1881, she became the first president of the American Red Cross. So the unique thing about the Red Cross is not only did they help wounded soldiers, they also helped anyone whenever disaster struck. And our second badass nurse for today is Miss Mary Eliza Mahoney. Mahoney. Now get this, in 1879, she was the first African American to earn a professional nursing license. Get it, girl? Now, over 10 years later, she co-founded the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses because she felt that the Nurses Association alumni was too slow to accept African American members. She's like, if you guys aren't gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And last, but not least, Margaret Sanger. Now, she worked as a midwife and a nurse in the poorest areas of New York before World War I. She witnessed countless deaths from self-induced abortions. This was a result of women having little to no health education. In 1914, she defied the church and state. She launched a feminist monthly, Women's Monthly, called the Women Rebel. It advocated for birth control, which was unheard of. In 1912, she wrote a series of articles called What Every Girl Should Know. Now, the article discussed menstruation, sexuality. Margaret established the first ever family planning clinic in the US in Brooklyn. And she was arrested for being a public nuisance. Right, because educating people is such a nuisance. Come on, America. Now, the good news is this case was later dismissed and she established more sex counseling centers. She won the right for doctors to give out birth control medical information to their patients because that wasn't okay before. I'm so glad I live in 2018. And in 1939, she established the Planned Parenthood Federation. According to biography.com, she said, "No woman can call herself free until she can choose consciously whether she will or will not be a mother." That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. In the comments below, please give a shout out to your favorite nurses of history, a nurse of today, or someone studying to be a nurse. If you'd like to see more badass women of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, please subscribe. And from me to you, nurses, thank you. Now get out there and go make some history of your own.